All right, everybody. Here we are. Happy June expiration. We're back after our hiatus. With me, as always, is Mr. Thomas Serpico. Thomas, how are you? How have you been?
I'm back, baby.
You telling me
Yeah.
how we are recording this on Father's Day Eve. Father's Day, our patron saint holiday. That's what I was trying to think of. Father's Day, our patron saint holiday. You got any
I
plans
guess
ready
it's
for Father's Day?
the most apt holiday. Is that I don't know. Yeah, I mean, ready. I mean, you know, the grill is set,
The grill is
the meat
set.
is thawing. I don't know what do you do to get ready for Father's Day.
If
I
anybody
don't know.
ever wondered, do we put down notes and discuss what we're going to talk about beforehand? This witty banter
No,
here said, nope, we have no idea what we're going to say
no,
10 seconds
no,
ago.
no. We're far too professionalism. Ha, who
Professional. Leave that to
needs
the
it?
professionals.
Yeah, who needs it, huh? No, but no, that's good. Father's Day. So like we've been caught up with a lot of different things in our house. So like Father's Day is such an afterthought in my mind. Like it's just whatever. It's just another day. We got to do the chores. We got to do all the other stuff. Like I don't think there's going to be anything massively special about Father's Day this year. There's nothing too extravagant to celebrate. So
Well, this will
yeah,
drop. This will drop after Father's Day, so we'll know the answer by then.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
that's fine though. I get it. Sometimes low key is better. I don't have
yeah.
much geared up for tomorrow either. It's more or less if just leave me alone for 2 or 3 hours and I'm good. That's kind of where I stand on the matter. I just want to like be able to watch my movie instead of watching The Amazing Spider-Man for like the
Mm,
800th time. That would be nice.
yeah. Spidey and Friends.
Spidey and Friends. Spidey is Amazing Friends.
Yes. Fun fact about that theme song. It's I think it's the guys from oh, what's that band?
It's all American
Uh,
Rejects.
yeah, no, it's Fall Out Boy.
Oh, Fall Out Boy. Yeah, sure, right. I was wrong. You were
Yeah,
right. I was
yeah.
yeah.
So it's like you hear that, and if you listen to like a Fall Out Boy, it's the same song. It's like, oh yeah, hey, that's that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it is
So
weird
I
that
think it's
they
Pete
chose to
Wentz
do
his
something
name.
like
I'm not
that.
sure. Yeah, Fall Out Boy is. I went to a Fall Out Boy concert years ago, and surprisingly fun. I
Going
think
to
I
a
give him
concert
credit.
with friends was surprisingly fun.
Yeah, I went with my wife when we were dating, and the opener was a band that she liked that she kind of turned me on to. So they were like the opener in Hershey, and then Paramore was the opener, and then Fall Out Boy was like the main act. So it was a fun concert. It was entertaining. It was good. So
Good lineup. Good
I
lineup.
wasn't really like a big Fall Out Boy fan, but they put on a really good show. I was really impressed. So
Those guys are going places. Pretty soon they're
yeah,
going to be
yeah, it's like
doing animated cartoon theme songs.
yeah. Well, so it was in Hershey, and it was in I don't know if you've ever been to a Hershey concert, but it's a big stadium. Like so, they have like the big infield, like a football or like a soccer stadium, and it's all like a bowl stadium seating, and they have the stage and like I guess one end zone, if you will. But so it seats a lot of people, and that was a pretty well packed show, and we were on the floor for whatever reason. Like we got tickets for the floor, and when the opener came on, it was what's their name? I can't remember the band's name that we went to go see, but they were like trying to keep the crowd like corralled and like getting your seats and do all this other stuff. And then by the time Paramore came on, they're like, yeah, whatever, just do whatever you want. I'm like, all right. So that was fun. But we were like the level age of the crowd was probably like 17, and
Oh,
that's
so
like
you're
who
like
was
the
going
old
to see that
geezer
show.
there?
Yeah, so like we like there was no line at the beer, like we just literally strolled up, and
Oh,
I
that's
got like
nice.
two beers, and I was like, all right, it's pretty good, it's nice, and then you see like the one or two dads in the concourse just on their phone, just like waiting,
Waiting
like
them
they
out.
had to bring
Yeah.
teenage daughters to the concert. So yeah, that was
That
that
might
was
be
an
me
intervention.
sooner than later. It might be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the dad who's just looking at his phone while like, I have to chaperone the kids
yeah,
going places
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, speaking of, I had to bring my one daughter to a birthday party today, so that was what so I was just hanging out at a birthday party for
Do
you know
do you do the dad birthday party, or do you do? Are you the designated birthday party person? Because I got a couple
no,
good ones.
typically it's my wife,
Oh,
but
is it? So
today,
it's a
yeah,
rarity. You see, like
yeah,
I'm the designated guy. Like my wife is just like, you're going to this, and I was like, fine. And I would have to. I've made. I'll like schmooze with grandmas and stuff that they're just there for the birthday kid who I've never met before. I get, I do what I got to do.
yeah. No, it was pretty good. The birthday party was for one of her friends that like we've hung out with outside of like daycare and stuff. So like I knew the parents, and it like wasn't a big deal. And it was fun. It was actually pretty fun to like hang out with them and talk for a bit. And then daughter went and played with all the kids and whatnot. It was good. It's a good time.
Was it at a
The weather has been
house
really
or was
crappy.
it like at like a bouncy park or something
It
like
was
that?
at it was at their house.
Was at their house because that's like that's intimate.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
you
That's
get like you get a kid who is like 3 years old. You get that
yeah.
invitation in like the little folder pocket thing at the door of the daycare for this
Yep.
kid you've never met. It's like a tax. You're like, son of
Mhm.
a bitch. I gotta get like $25 gift and a card and kill 3 hours, 2 hours on like a Saturday afternoon to like be around people you don't know.
Yeah.
It's a tax. When they're young and you don't know them. They're not like your friends' kids. They're just like who I don't know who these people are. I don't know what they
Well,
do.
it depends. It depends
I
on I
don't
guess
know
who
this
like
Merle.
yeah,
I
right.
don't know
So
what he does.
like there's so a lot of the kids in my oldest daughter's class, they're all born around the same time. So there's like birthday party, birthday party, birthday party, birthday party. Like it's tough to like you
Like when you
get
turn
so
27, you go to a wedding every 2 months.
yeah, it was basically that. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. So the girls whose birthday party we went to today, their my daughter and her birthdays are a day apart. So in years past, we've been like, hey, just so you know, we're thinking about throwing a party on this day, just so like you're coordinating so that they can go to each other's party. Like you don't want to throw the party on the same day where then they can't go to each other's party. Because like they're friends, they're good friends, and they want to like be at each other's party and play and have fun. So like we had to coordinate like,
The
hey, we're gonna throw a party
audacity.
this
What's
day.
wrong with you raising children that want to do that?
Yeah, yes, but yeah, so it's just one of those things where it's like because there's so many parties, and my we get invited to this one kid's party in their birthday every year, but like it's always like on a day that like we can't go. So in
Mm.
like the response text to that mom, it's just like nope, we can't go. The next year, nope, we can't go, and then next year, and it's like 3 years in
That's
a
the
row. It's
only
like
thing
no,
you've ever said to her
yeah,
is no, you can't go to your birthday. I'm
yeah,
not
it's like
bringing my daughter to your birthday party.
yeah, it's like oh, sorry, hey. Yeah, it's just the timing. There's only so many weekends in June, and if you got other things going on, then you just you know, especially like so. Yeah, it's this weekend's Father's Day. Like there's things potentially going on, not necessarily in my house, but like other people have stuff going on. So
Yeah, we got golf this weekend. They always put like what the U.S. Open is on this weekend.
yeah, they're playing at
We always
Oakmont in
get
Pittsburgh.
golf. Depending on where you
Yeah,
are, depends how like humid or what the weather's actually going to be, whether it's nice or not. I don't know. Where I am, it's been god awful humid where we are, so it's just
mm,
like you don't. It theoretically looks nice, but you just don't want to be out in it. You know what I
right.
mean?
It's just sticky. Yeah, yeah.
Icky
We
and
we've
like
had
yeah, it's oppressively
we
humid right now.
yeah, we've had rain. Like we have rain in the forecast for like 7 straight days,
Yeah,
and
we've had
it's just
sporadic rain. It's like living down in like the rainforest or something right now.
yeah. So we got a pretty significant steady rain today. Like it wasn't like super heavy, but it was just constant. It was like all right, well, a good long soaking rain. So that'll do wonders for the grass and drought in the area that we've had for years, it seems like. So that's the big deal is that like the drought maps in this area are like dwindling, and everybody's like, hey, we're finally not in a drought. That's like we've been in a drought for like years in Pennsylvania. It seems like by the definition of drought. So
Well, I don't know anything about that, so
no, yeah, yeah. Well, that's the news up here. That's the big news
oh, that's
out of
true.
that
I know,
drought.
I get that. I get that. I get that.
Yeah. Well, the big thing. So I don't know, like up here at least because we've been getting so much rain and since like Memorial Day weekend, like the unofficial start of the summer, um people like to we have a bunch of creeks and rivers and stuff, and a lot of people they'll go to parks and they'll like hang out in the rivers like just to cool off or like splash around, do whatever they want to do, and they
So
have
you're
an
telling
issue
me
like,
they just
hey,
like wade into like a wild
yeah,
river in a park?
yeah, it's not super big, they're not massive, but like they're rivers, you know like, but yeah, that's a thing that happens. That's pretty pretty frequent. But so there's a couple of them where they get pretty deep and pretty fast. And with all the rain we've been having, they like issued a warning like, hey, if you're gonna kayak or you're gonna like go do water activities in these rivers, like rethink it because you know it's a different animal than what most people are used to. And like Memorial Day weekend, I had to have like two or three river rescues that like, and I think somebody like got pulled under and like it got the better of some people because of all the rain we've been having, and people don't realize that. Oh well, it's not really raining today, yeah, but the residual rain that you've had for the past couple of days is all getting through the watershed and then getting to the river, and then it's going to like hit and peak, and it's a much faster current, deeper current than you're probably used to, and it's a bit dangerous. So
Well, thanks for that warning. I'm never
well,
going in
yeah,
a river, so it doesn't
okay.
matter.
Well, you one day you might live in a van down by the river if things don't play out, So yeah,
Yeah, I've come closer to that than I ever thought I would at times in life.
in
I'll be
life.
honest. Yeah. Yeah, let's not rule that out that one day I end up in a river or a van down by the river.
Yeah, I listened to a radio show. It's the Friedberg Howling show, and there was a guy on that show. He his name was Joe, and he his life was kind of spiraling out of control. So they would create like intros for like the show, and he he was going through a really rough time, and he was like he was getting divorced, and he was going through all this thing, and he decided that he wanted to live in a van. so so the intro that they created for him, like, I'm 35, I am divorced, I live in a van down by the river, and that was exactly what was going on in his life, and he didn't really realize it until they played that intro, and then he just kind of had to like, oh man, this is really bad in my life. Yeah, so yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. The TV thing. So what I'm hearing out of that is measuring yourself by your age compared to like a TV character can
Yeah, oh
be
yeah.
eye-opening.
Yes, yes, that is something when you compare yes, yourself to where you're at now, where people in TV shows when they're at that same age and what they have on that show is pretty crazy.
Right. Like you watch like Roseanne was a good one back in the 90s where like they were supposed to be they had like a house and three kids. They were supposed to be like they were like 29
Yeah,
in
it's
like
it's it's
season
crazy to
one.
think
Like
about.
they
Like, yeah,
basically they graduated high school. She got knocked up with the first one like right around the senior like right around graduating high school at like 18. The kid was like uh 12 when the show started, which would have put her at like 30. She was
right,
30. She had a 12-year-old, like a 9-year-old, like the
right.
kid. They had a house. They
Yep,
each were working. Like
yep,
like
yeah.
they were like established in life
hmm
in a way that like many people who are now years older are not.
You're right. Yeah, it's crazy to think. It's especially like the time capsule, like the timing of it. Like you said, like yeah, 29. Like they're well into life at 29. Like you think back when you're 29, you're like you have no idea what's going on, and
Well,
it's
actually, I
like
was I was getting married with a kid, and you're right though. But your point is, yeah, I didn't have a 12-year-old. I was like, but I was
yeah,
like,
you didn't have a 12-year-old. You were just starting that process at 29 as opposed to being
right,
12 years into that process. Like you're not even 12 years into that process now. Like
true, right, yeah.
you know. So yeah, it's just yeah, it's funny when you look at things like that and like other sitcoms of the era, like the things that were quote unquote normal in like the 80s and 90s, by today's standards are just it's like, oh man, how did they get that kind of house? It's like
There's a couple good memes. So Ed O'Neill, who played Al Bundy and Jay on Modern Family,
mhm,
he's my favorite example of an actor who really like he is defined by like your age really
mhm,
dictates how much what you know him as,
right.
and he really I think personified like dads and like
Mhm,
suburban dad type characters in very different ways in very different eras. He's my favorite to talk about. So like he's
yeah.
There's a meme that goes around. It's Al Bundy putting his hand down his pants and he's sitting on the couch and it just said like in the 1980s and 90s this guy was considered fat and poor and they showed him like just
Mhm.
he was just like himself and he's like a homeowner.
Yeah, just a normal guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And like it's it's not wrong. And then in the other one, for like anyone of a certain age, he's like the patriarch of that whole family, and you see like a very like upper middle class group of people like just
yeah,
slack jawing around, going on trips to Paris for no good reason, and they're fine.
yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, in your closet empire, is flourishing. You can afford to do those things.
I tried to convince my daughters that Married with Children was a prequel to Modern Family.
Yeah.
Like I tried to convince my 8-year-old who really liked Modern Family, um, that Peg was Jay Pritchett's first wife,
First wife.
And then Kelly and Bud were actually Claire and Mitch.
Yeah,
And that was when he was just getting started in like
and Princess
he started in
Buttons.
shoes, and then he started working on the shoe closets and shoe
That
racks.
that is it. I think that's canon. I choose to believe that. I think that is
Right?
legit. I think that's legit. Yeah, that makes
She didn't
sense.
believe me for 1 second, but I was like, I really like pitched it hard to her one night to
But you
see
know
if
what?
she'd go for it.
It makes sense that Bud striking out with all the ladies, he actually realized that he was gay later on. And
Right.
became,
Like
you know,
it's like they get the it's like they divorced Peg, and then all of a sudden it's like this revelation. They all form their new characters.
right. Yeah, that I'm on board with that. I think that makes sense. I think now when I watch Modern Family, I'm going to look at it through the eyes of, oh, that was Al Bundy,
Like Al
and
Bundy
now
really
he's
got his shit together.
yeah, really, yeah, yeah. Oh
They
man,
do that
that
with they do that same like that's a good like Reddit game. Like I should do like a Reddit thread of that. That's like
yeah,
where that would live.
yeah.
Because they do ones where they think
Well,
like Bryan
it's
Cranston
it's fun. Like
was
he was like Hal, and then
he was in Malcolm in the Middle, and then he's on like yeah, and then he became Breaking Bad. It's like, oh, it's the same dude.
Mhm. Yeah, that would yeah, it's fun to think like same actors or actresses when you put them in their universes, and like how they you can connect the dots in those universes. Like how do they get from role one to role two? That's always it's always fun. It's fun to think about. Or I'm trying
Like
to think of if there's another good one.
it's like the in-universe version of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon almost.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's like yeah, and there's always some good ones in there. Trying to think of another one. Keanu Reeves, I think, has a couple good ones where like they connect like Bill and Ted to like John Wick.
He starts as Bill and
Like
Ted and becomes John Wick.
yeah, it's like or something like that. Yeah, it's like oh yeah, this is what happened. This is how Bill from Bill and Ted became
It feels
John
a little
Wick,
bit
and
more of a
what happened
leap.
to him is yeah, well yeah, backstories and things like that, or like like he was on a or like chronologically they'll kind of move things around. It's like oh well then that bus thing really got to him in speed,
Right.
and he decided to join the Navy SEALs. It's like, you know,
All right, hang
but
on. So it's June 13th, and my 4-year-old just asked me if we could get the chocolate calendars with the numbers on them, meaning an advent
nice.
calendar.
Oh,
Meaning like we get like the chocolate advent calendar every. So I said yes, yes, we can get an advent calendar this year.
cool.
All right.
Yeah, I bet you can get one on Amazon pretty cheap, right?
Yeah, that's the trick. You buy them in the off season.
Yeah,
You got to stock up.
stock
Now's the
up,
time. Only
That's the
suckers
way it
buy
goes.
them at Thanksgiving. Those
Yeah, there
advent
you go.
calendars.
Yeah, they'll all be melted. And trying to open the sticky. Oh man,
They all
we got
can't be winners.
an advent calendar with like little toys in it. And that was a mess. That was a disaster. Those are like little like slinkies and things like that. This sucks. Oh,
Yeah, I know we got all that bullshit crap. Like, yeah, do you do like Kinder Joys?
like little eggs.
Those eggs, the little orange and white eggs at the checkout counter at like a grocery store.
Like Emily asked, she asked for one once, and like I got her as a treat like a couple weeks later. Like that was what it was. We did it like once. That
Oh,
was
like
it.
where they're pretty common in our house. Like we'll get those from
Yeah.
time to time. Just like we'll get a one-off. It's like you come on, we'll go to the grocery store with me, and then I went check out here, get a Kinder Joy, and you just have it, and they
Mm.
sit and eat it when they get, they come with me for an errand, and
Yeah.
they have like half of it is like chocolate and like cream or whatever, and then the other half of it is a toy, and then you pull away the cellophane, and it's like a little cheap ass toy. So we have a
Mm.
bunch of those always kicking around somewhere. It's like
Yeah.
they gradually disappear
Mm. Yeah. I
because
got you. Yeah.
they care about them for like an hour, and then they're sitting on the counter. An hour later, they're upstairs and it's just sitting on the counter and they don't notice, and then it gets moved in front of the garbage, and then it's like, oh, by day three, it's in the garbage. It's done.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. We're going through a pretty big purge right now in our house. We're trying to really weed out a lot of the things we don't need anymore because we're starting to come out of the baby phase. Like we are officially out of the baby phase, but we're trying to go through all the things that like we have from the baby phase and seeing okay, what do we have? What should we pass on? Is there anybody to pass those things on to? Like thinking about into the future, like okay, is like my brother-in-law, is he gonna have kids? Is this worth saving for him? Should we give it to him? Things like that. So we're trying to get rid of all of those things and figuring out what we can get out of this house. And
We've
like
been
and toys too. Like what kind of toys are we like past? You know?
Yeah, that you have to go through that every once in a while. My wife wants to do a bunch of that crap too, coming up. We've been doing consignment sales.
Yeah, we
Like
try
we've
to
just
do
been
that.
sending it to a consignment shop, and then just
Yeah,
like anyone who wants to pick through it can buy stuff, and then you just split it. You split it with the consignment shop.
right.
So it's not, I mean, it's like going to Goodwill, but you get a cut at Goodwill.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, we've been trying to do that too. I mean, with all the clothes and stuff that we've grown out of. The one place near us though, like they do it all seasonally. So like if you're not in the right season, they don't take it. Like so, yeah. So it's like a
It's like
pain.
it's like a lane in Seinfeld. It's like, what do you mean you don't take the donation? It's like it's food. They're
Yeah,
homeless. Like just
we're the top of all
baby
these mountains.
clothes for babies without clothes. Just take the
Well,
goddamn
like
clothes.
they only have so much real estate. So like if you're not, so like in the spring they'll take summer clothes because people are gonna be shopping for that. And then in the summer they'll take fall, fall will take winter, like all crap like that. So like especially like with all like the holiday onesies and stuff, like oh my first Thanksgiving and all that jazz, like you know, trying to get rid of all those clothes.
I guess,
But the thing is you have to organize it. So like it's a task to like go through and have all that stuff organized so that they can like look at it and take because like if it's not like organized, like no, we don't care, we're not gonna look at it. Oh, okay, great. So so
I get you. I get you. This is a good segue as any to ask you about the real reason I've had you on again. How's your dishwasher?
exactly. Exactly. You know, that dishwasher has been like a workhorse lately. And we've been running almost 2 times a day. So we have so many freaking dishes in this house. But it's holding up. It's holding up. It's you know, of all the appliances that has given me trouble, I think we finally found a harmonious relationship between me and the dishwasher. I think we've gotten to a point where we can, you know, coexist in the same household, not have any passive aggressive issues, no leaks. I don't kick it. We've gotten past those things. We peacefully coexist because we've all found more common enemies in this house that to go to attack. You know, dehumidifiers,
The
big one.
dehumidifier?
Yeah, dehumidifier. Just we have a dehumidifier in the basement, and that thing just quit on me. Just quit on me. I said, "Don't quit on me, man." And just quit. And then so I had to buy a different
He
one.
was only
And that
3
one,
days away from retirement.
yeah. Come on, Sarge. But yeah. Oh man, that thing was. Oh, that really pissed me off when that broke because our water heater broke. so, so all of the water flooded into the basement, and the dehumidifier, which sucks up all the moisture, stopped working. So there's a big puddle in the basement, and
So really, you should be on. You should get a little like plaque, like that guy. The dehumidifier gave its life in service
yeah,
of trying to
yeah,
protect the home.
yeah, exactly,
You should
yeah,
get like a
yeah,
little thing, like.
yeah. Here
Because if
lies
you ever have
G.
people over to your house, like ever, you'd be like, That's. Let me tell you a story." It's like what that crap is for.
Yeah, light up a cigarette. All right. Back in the war days, the water wars of 25.
Right.
But yeah, so our water heater broke, and it like was slowly flowing out, and it flooded our basement. So we have a floor drain, but the problem is the floor drain I don't think has a P trap, so it was smelling. So we put a cap on it. so so everywhere we're
You clogged the you like stopped the drainage.
yeah, we literally put like a cap that's meant to go on top of those things that like you basically can unscrew, and then you can like drain, like if you have to drain something you can unscrew it and do that and it'll drain it. But obviously that wasn't undone, and the dehumidifier broke, so there was a ton of water between the unfinished portion and the finished portion of our basement, where the drain is in the finished portion and the water heater is in the unfinished portion. So all of that water was trickling down, going through underneath the wall, and basically just sitting on this carpeted area for, assuming, a day or so. Hopefully not less than that, but or not more than that. But yeah, so that was the thing. So we had to replace the water heater, and then the dehumidifier broke, so we got a new dehumidifier down here, and then yeah, it's always something. And then I ripped out probably I want to say 2 pickup truck loads worth of tree roots recently
Well, let me
out of
ask
my
you this
yard.
first. Let me ask you this first. Do you ever reflect on your life
Yes, all the time.
and think, how am I a civil engineer focused on drainage,
Mm, yeah,
yet I
yeah.
allowed my own basement to flood
Well, you know,
for lack
so
of
pipes.
drainage?
Well, so I see where you're going with this. I see where you're headed. Now, everything outside is fine. Everything out, it's all the inside stuff. It's not my responsibility, but it just screwed up. So there is that. I mean, my house, my responsibility. But yes,
We're talking
I
about
see.
yourself or the house?
What?
Everything on the outside is fine. Everything on the inside's a mess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's yeah, yeah, huh, yeah. But I will say that I don't know. I'm surviving. We're figuring it out. We got the water heater replaced. We got a new dehumidifier in here. We're rocking and rolling. We're figuring it out. The new dehumidifier kind of sucks though because the tank is really small
It's like
and it fills
we'll
up real
call this
fast.
like season 2, episode 1 of Trader Dad's podcast, and it's like you just upped the ante, my friend.
Mm,
You just upped the ante. The
that was
dishwasher was like
child's
a
play.
level 1 villain, and now you're
Mm,
like facing the big boss.
mm. Eh, yeah, yeah. That was a pain. That was a pain because it like broke on a Saturday night.
Hmm.
So trying to get plumbers out here on a Sunday, like, it's a pain. That was
Yeah,
tough.
that's the Lord's Day.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of places not
Try to
open.
get
Don't want to come
Chick-fil-A.
out.
Like, it's impossible.
Yeah. And so I was doing that while trying to retile a decent amount of my kitchen. so so I'm trying to coordinate plumbers while cutting tile and doing all that.
Well, you
Uh,
should have stopped tiling.
well, I needed to get the tiling done for the birthday party so that we didn't have cracked tiles everywhere in our kitchen, so that people weren't coming to our house and breaking more tiles and cutting their feet on things. So yeah, so I had to get a bunch of things done before we threw a birthday party for our oldest. And so the big thing was that there was we got a tree taken down out in our backyard, and that was in February of last year. And this summer I was trying to grow grass and I couldn't get grass to grow for some reason. Like it was really, really hard to get it to grow. So I started like poking around down there, and when they ground the stump, they basically ground as much as they could see. But when they did that, they went down to a certain level, and when they got to that level, it just became like one flat plane of tree because the tree was so old. The tree was like 50 or 60 years old, and it was like a 3 foot diameter tree. Like, it was crazy, and so none of the grass roots would germinate or be able to get down because of all the tree roots that were in there. So I basically started digging. I'm like, okay, well, there's probably just a couple tree roots that are sparsed out, and I could just kind of get those up pretty quickly. As I started digging it out, I had probably a 12-foot diameter hole in my yard that went down about 3 feet. That I was just digging out tree roots for weeks on end. So I dug out all those tree roots, and then I had to backfill all that. I had to get grass to grow. So I finally got all that done, and I got the grass to grow, and the grass looks fantastic. But and it's like this one big large plot of grass that looks brand new and pristine, and then the rest of my yard grass looks like crap old stuff. You can really see like there's a clear like division ring of like where I put all this like nice material down, and I put like nice new grass seed, and that looks pristine and that looks great. And then the rest of the yard looks like it's been hobbled together for 50 years. So there's one really dark, lush area in
So,
my yard, and then
so,
like a
so,
light green area.
so your lawn's like the equivalent of a really ugly person getting a nose job, and it's like, wow, that's a really nice nose on that
Yeah,
ugly
pretty
person.
much. Yeah, yeah. It's very patchy. So like I've had to make a couple different patches in the yard based on different things. So we had another tree taken down, which wasn't nearly as big, but like that needed to be done. So like there's a big ring of green grass there, and then we had a kiddie pool up, and that killed all the grass there. So I redid that. So there's just like rings of green grass, like massive rings that are just like covering my yard. So eventually, hopefully I'll get to doing all of it, and it'll all look okay at some point. But you know, by the time I'm 90, I'll finally have finished it.
I pay a guy $200 a month to mow my lawn. Best investment I've ever made. I don't touch
Congratulations.
it. Don't touch it. He seeds it. He does everything. It's the best investment I've ever made. I was
Congratulations.
unemployed. I still paid that man every month.
I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. So is that 200 a month just in the season, or 200 a month throughout the winter season as well?
12 months a year. I pay him $200 a month. He comes every single week, mows my lawn, seeds it in the season time. He gets the bushes done twice a year. He aerates once a year. He knows the schedule for it all. $200 a month, just part of it's like paying the phone bill. Don't even think about
Hmm.
it.
So what does he do in like January? Nothing.
Well, I'm gonna lower. latitude. So if it gets like to 50 degrees in January, which it could, yeah, he'll come out. Comes out and
I
just
guess that makes sense.
does
Yeah,
he
I
like
didn't. Yeah, I
just
didn't think
trims a
about that.
little bit, like weed whacks and stuff, just
Hmm.
keeps it fresh. Yeah.
Keeps it
I mean,
tidy.
that's kind of like off season for him. Like I get it. Like he doesn't come every week on in January, but he still comes and checks it, takes care of it. Great.
How about it?
Hmm?
Good for you.
Fantastic. Well, you know what we did when we like I like said that when we were gonna buy a house. I said like, look, what I don't give a shit what the we're gonna take the cost of that
Hmm.
and then we're gonna load it into the mortgage, and that's our budget because I'm not doing it.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah,
we
you
just got a
got to
slightly
know.
smaller house. We got $200 a month smaller house than we otherwise could have. Like,
Yeah, good for you. At least you know that. Like, yeah, me, no, I
hold on.
take care of the lawn. Yeah. So the other thing, so I was at that party today, and I was talking with the dad party who I've gotten to got to know him pretty well, and we're talking about like what are you doing this summer? Like that was like the thing. So he's a teacher, so he's off for the summer, so he's got like ample time to do whatever he wants, and then his daughter is going to like summer camps. No, but so we were talking about like, oh, like what are you looking to do this summer, blah blah, blah. And so he is going down to the beach with his family at the end of July with a bunch of his extended family, which I thought was interesting. So that's what he's doing. So we're talking a bit about that and all of the things that go along with spending a week down at the shore with your family. So,
Well, there's going to be a lot of that coming up. I'll tell you that right
oh,
now.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussion about what needs to be done for spending a week at the shore with your family. The other thing that came up out of that conversation was, okay, what are you doing over the summer? And then what I've been doing, I've been trying to create a very childish goal for myself over the summers, like just like a fun summer thing to accomplish, like so what last year we joined a pool membership like our township, and they had a diving board. So when you're at the pool with like kids and stuff, like you're kind of with your kids in the kiddie pool section. I said, you know what? By the end of the summer, I'm gonna go off that diving board. Just it's like a fun, like stupid little thing to do. So like the last day of the summer, I'm like, oh, I gotta get over to the pool and get off the diving board. So
Is it a high
I got
diving board or a regular like low
it's
diving
just a
board?
regular low diving board, whatever. But still, it's like one of those things. Like, when was the last time you jumped off a diving board?
I don't know.
Exactly. So exactly. So I was thinking about that. It's like I can't remember the last time I actually like dove off a diving board. So I was like, okay, this summer I'm gonna make it a point. I'm gonna go off that diving board. So this summer I'm gonna go on a roller coaster. Like, when was the last time you went on a roller coaster? Like a legitimate like amusement park roller coaster?
I don't know.
Exactly. Exactly. But that's like a fun like childish thing to like think about. Like, okay, yeah. So now so we have an amusement park that it's like 5 minutes down the road. So I can just pop over there. We have a season pass. So I'll pop over there at one point during the summer, hopefully, and get on a roller coaster. Because with the kids being as young as they are, like they're not really going on the roller coasters. So it's not like this is like something that I have to set out to do. Like I have to go, like it's not just like I'm not going to incidentally go on a roller coaster. I have to like set out to go do this. I know it sounds silly, but and that's the whole point. It is supposed to be silly. That it's like a silly thing to do. But like when you're a kid, like a little, like, a teenager or whatever, like, oh yeah, you go to the theme parks, you go on roller coasters, going on a diving board, like that's just something that happens almost automatically in the summer. As an
Is it
adult, you don't
okay?
really automatically get to do all those fun things. So it's like I'm making a point to like try to find some fun in the summer to do something stupid and childish and fun, because most likely if I don't set out to actively do it, it's just not going to happen incidentally. So that's my goal. That's my childhood goal, is to go on a roller coaster this summer. So hopefully I accomplish that. We'll see.
Good luck, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have
I
any
get the
goals for the
broader
summer?
point. I think what you're trying to parse out is getting to leverage kids to vicariously re-enjoy stuff from childhood.
No,
Maybe a little of that.
it's just like that's just a fun summer thing to do. Like what's a fun summer thing to do that like I think as an adult, like you start to lose those fun summer things that you got to do as a kid. And like you don't just do them because you're an adult now, and you just don't have time to do them, but they're still fun things to do. Like going on a roller coaster still conceivably is fun. I'll find out
Conceivably.
well, my body. So my body is very much different than it was when I went on a roller coaster, and
Well, that's
like,
the thing. Like, I have no real interest in getting like dizzy on a roll. I just don't want to do it. I have no interest in
well,
doing it. It's not
I'll
like if
find
I
out.
wanted to, we'd get like season passes to the amusement park around like that's like, around this area.
Yeah,
I just
that's
have no
true.
interest in doing it.
Right. Well, I don't know. I'm curious to see how my body will respond, and I'm interested in finding out. So that's my goal for the summer. That's what I want to do. So I don't know.
Well,
Do you have any goals for the summer? Do you have any things that you're trying to accomplish this summer?
no.
No, nothing. Zero. So you're just gonna do nothing. Got it. Excellent.
No, it's not that I don't want to accomplish anything. It's that I am just I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just like I work fucking 40 some odd hours a week. I
Yeah, me
take
too.
care of my
Yeah,
kids. I also run
yeah,
a podcast and they're like, oh, I do enough shit. Like I don't need to do
yeah.
anymore. Fine.
I don't know. I don't know. I just thought it could be a fun thing to do. I don't know. It could be anything. It could be I don't know. It could be as silly as just sitting and having an ice cream cone.
Don't be an ass.
I'm not being an ass. I'm just trying to bring up something that potentially could be fun. It's I don't know if you've been listening to any other podcasts or any other like video blogs, or if you listen to anything on your YouTube or whatever, like while you're working. I don't know if you're like I don't like every now and then, like I'll go through stages of things that I'll find or I'll listen to while I'm at work or whatever. And like for a while, like I was listening to like the Two Bears Cave podcast with Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer. Like that was I was listening to that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But then like
Yeah, I know
it
who they
started
are.
like what it like things start to peter out though. Like things are good for a while, and then you kind of start to get sick of it, after a while, and you start to
I
move on to
understand.
other things. So for a while, I don't know if you're familiar with the Kill Tony podcast.
I know what Kill Tony is. I don't have time to like I watched the Netflix special that they did.
Oh, I didn't watch the Netflix
It
special.
was just
No.
like a one-off episode on Netflix. So I watched
Oh
that
yeah.
because it was like watching a movie. I
Oh
know exactly what it is. I think it's great, but I don't have like the time in the day to spend like time listening to that particular one. Of
no,
all the
yeah,
things in the universe,
yeah,
it's not the one I've
yeah. So
chosen.
like, I was listening to that for a while, and that was decent because like it's not the same thing every week or the same people talking every week. It's always like you always get fresh new blood in that. So that was kind of like a nice angle where they bring up a random comedian for a minute and they just get to know them, and you got to see some pretty interesting people on that, and but then also you got to see some pretty good stand up as well. Like that was pretty nice, and there were some people in there that got their start on Kill Tony that like ended up being they're fairly big names now. If like
Yeah,
and they're funny and so
no,
that
I
was
get
pretty
it. It's
good.
good.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find like I got burnt out on that. Like I'm just getting burnt out on a lot of the normal things that like I was listening to for a while. So I'm trying to find like good other things to listen to just that'll keep my interest. And it's hard. I'm losing interest in a lot of the things that are out there that I've been listening to for a while, and it's frustrating. So
So I'll say two things. I'll say what I subscribe. I keep a Spotify account because it's just like the most collective and it's
yeah.
just like what I use.
Mhm.
I subscribe to a lot. I
Mhm.
listen to a like a very, very trim subset of that.
Yeah.
Like I'll, so I like, I mean, I know that whole like, generation of like comedians that you're talking about, like, the Mark Norman and Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura and
Yeah.
they're all they're all like runoffs of like Joe Rogan's like kind of sphere.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, I subscribe to a lot of those guys. How often do I listen to them? Maybe never. Like
Right.
I just kind of like to scroll through and see maybe who are they speaking with, what are they
Right.
talking about,
Yep.
and then on the political so like I have a lot of comedians and stuff. I have a lot of Bill Simmons stuff, so that's a lot of pop culture stuff. So the rewatchables is amazing. I love the
Mhm.
rewatchables. It basically they go 2 hours on like their favorite movie that they're talking about of the week, and they go through all the categories and they go through all sorts of fun stuff. It's very good. It's almost like I'll listen to it if I'm busy, the way you'd want to have like a rerun of the actual movie they're talking about in the background.
Right.
So yeah, I like Bill Simmons stuff and then his crew that's like Chris Ryan and the Ryan Cirillo and a few other people like that. They do all that stuff. He ventures between pop culture and sports, so that's it. But again, I subscribe to it all, but like it's only 24 hours in a day, right?
Right. Yeah. Well,
And
yeah.
so
It's
I gotta, and I'm in a role now where I can't just keep some noise on in the background. Like I'm on
right.
calls for make 6 hours a day sometimes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's
It's
just
tough.
not, I have, to pick, I have to very much cherry pick what I'm listening to.
Right.
Back in like when I was like, what was it? I'm getting on months now. Like when I was out of work back in 20 or late 2023, all of a sudden I was doing manual labor. I was doing stuff around the house. I was painting, I was doing whatever else. I
Mm.
was listening to 3 4 hours of podcasts a day
Yeah.
because I could. So
Right.
I was like,
Right.
that's where my subscription volume really like expanded because I was like, oh, I listened to like the three that I had prior to that, and I needed
Right.
to start like branching out. But now I've gotten a lot more narrow,
Yep.
so I'm very very selective on what I actually listen to, but I still subscribe to a lot. Like in
Right.
politics, I have left, right, and center. Like I have Ben Shapiro, but I also have like Sam Harris. I have
Mm.
NPR, but I have like I have breaking points. I have all sorts of different like pieces on the
Yeah.
spectrum. Like
Right.
because then it's just like if something happens and maybe like the left has something fun or interesting
Right.
point on it, but then other times like Israel and all that crap that's going on with Israel, it's kind of interesting to hear what Ben Shapiro has to say about that. As a, Jewish conservative, he has a very specific interest in what goes on with all the Israel stuff. So sometimes you want to listen to just what he's saying, what his arguments are.
Yeah.
Sometimes that you want to listen to like Sam Harris or Vox or NPR really giving like their more like left of center traditional thought process. So it
Right.
depends. I
Yeah.
have like subscriptions across the board on a lot of stuff.
Mm. Gotcha. Yeah. Gotta say that's a far cry from Kill Tony. But
Yeah.
um, yeah. The one thing that I have been finding that I do enjoy is I don't know if you follow or know the Good Mythical Morning guys, Rhett and Link.
No, I don't think so.
So they're they're two guys that are like kind of for lack of a better word like the OGs of YouTube. Like they've been doing content on YouTube since like YouTube started,
Okay.
and they they created like a cult following. And basically, it's these two guys have been like best friends since like second grade or something, and they lived in like a North Carolina town. And their journey is interesting, but they kind of got internet notoriety when they started doing commercials for really odd businesses. And
Okay. I gotcha.
and yeah, so they did it.
Like
So
quirky, weird little like commercial
yeah,
gimmick things. Yeah, I gotcha.
yeah. So like, and you can find the commercials online. Like so, and this is like at the infancy of the internet. Like say like 2004, 2005, when like E-Bombs World was big, and like like a viral video. Like there was like a subset of people with like certain websites that could like find these videos. It was before YouTube was YouTube. Like YouTube started in 2006, so they put out commercials like before that, and like on websites and like rentandlink.com and whatever. So the one commercial that like people will look at is it was a furniture store in like North Carolina, and it was a guy. They said, "Hey, we'll come and do a commercial for you, and we'll air it on like local access TV, or whatever." So it's I think it was like Red's Furniture. So like the tagline was, "Oh, it's at the Red House." So that's what at the Red House where black people and white people buy furniture. That was their tagline in the commercial. so,
Excellent.
so like so
Excellent.
so like so like yeah so like in the commercial they're like, "Hi, I'm me and I'm black and I buy furniture at the Red House." I was like, "And I'm white and I buy furniture at the Red House." And like that's what it was, and that was the commercial they aired on like rural North Carolina local access TV. Like that was the commercial they made for the guy, and
And
like
they made
yeah,
millions.
yeah, and then they had one that was like it's like a roller skating rink, and it was like they had like a 12-year-old boy at the roller skating rink, and like a 13-year-old girl at the roller skating rink. Then they had like a 42-year-old guy at the roller skating rink. Like it's like I come here to watch the skaters. Like it's just
Oh,
like really like it's just
they
like
were
and that's
just, I
like
get it. It was almost like a Chappelle show or Saturday Night
yeah
Live commercial.
yeah
But
it
they
was
but
like
it
that
went serious. Yeah, no, that's smart. That's like good like viral marketing. That's like
yeah
the
so
early
so that's how they
onset
got
viral marketing basically incubated
exactly and
20
that's
years
what it
ago.
was so So that's how they got their start. So then they started doing a like morning show, which is called Good Mythical Morning. And it was like a 15-minute YouTube show that they did every day, Monday through Friday. And it was literally just the two of them talking about stuff or doing something or whatever. And they're just literally sitting at a desk talking at each other for, and they created like a thing. And one of the big things that they do is they do a lot of food stuff. So like what they'll do is like they'll blindfold themselves, like, okay, can we guess what the chicken nuggets are from this fast food restaurant? So they'll have like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, whatever, and like somebody will feed it to them, and then they'll try to guess like, oh, this is from Burger King, and they would try to like, get guess, and like so all those like food things kind of like took off on their channel. So they started their own subset channel called Good Mythical Kitchen, and there's a chef on there who does a show called Last Meals. So he brings celebrities on, and they ask them like, hey, if you were going to have your last meal, what would your last meal be? And they'll cook it for them, and they'll sit and they'll talk about death, and they'll talk about their lives, and they'll talk about, and it's actually it's pretty entertaining in my opinion. And like they get some pretty good people. Like they had Tom Hanks on one time, which was good. Like they'll get some people that are like some pretty big names, and it's like, okay, yeah, and it's entertaining to see who they get on and what they're talking about, and also what their last meals would be, which I always find entertaining.
That would be good.
And then you
What
learn
would
a
your
lot about
last
the
meal
person.
be?
Well, that I think about that all the time, and I because of that show, like I've been thinking about like what would my last meal be, and um, the way they do it, it's like multiple courses of what they're gonna do. So I think if I was gonna do it, I would either lean into something ridiculous and just like make it absurd for the point of the show, or I would do something that would like kind of mimic like going through my life, like so like I would probably
Wait, are you
like
on the
okay for
show having like a real theatrical moment, or are you just like it's like, what do you want for dinner? Because tomorrow morning we shoot you in the head. Like,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like if well, I guess with the premise of if I was going on the show, like what
oh,
would I
okay. So
ask them to make?
oh, it's like you're like going on MTV Cribs, and what you don't see, like you're like planning this out. It's like, oh, let me have the cars here. It's like, oh, the bed's
Yeah.
made. This is where the magic happens. Blah blah blah. You're doing it that way.
Well,
I
yeah.
just like,
Well,
well, if you were gonna die tomorrow, what would you eat? That was my question.
if I was gonna like okay, like legitimate, like right now, I would probably go make. I'd probably go have a bunch of peanut butter and jellies that were frozen. I'd probably make some taquitos that are in the freezer. I'd probably go to Taco Bell, like anything that I could get my hands on at this late at night. I would just get my hands on and just eat whatever. But then it also depends on how I would be dying, right? Like if they were going to give me the electric chair or something like that, or they were going to cremate my body, I would eat a handful of popcorn kernels, as many as I could, before they cremated me. So,
The
you
pie,
know,
no, that'd be
yeah,
funny.
yeah. But I do think about the last meal thing. Like if I was gonna go on that show, like what like legitimately what would I want to do? Like I don't know. Like because and I go back and forth on it. So like for me, I think I'd want to like if I was taking it somewhat seriously, like if I was actually thinking like okay, if I actually had the opportunity to plan out my last meal and like do what I wanted to do, I would probably start with like a breakfast meal. Like I would have plain Cheerios with milk because that's what I used to eat all the time. Um, and then I would probably have like some sort of like French toast or whatever at breakfast. And then my second course meal would probably be like lunch, and that would be like peanut butter and jellies and like turkey sandwiches and like things like that, like as my second meal. And then my like dinner course, I guess, would be that's tough one. That's the one I'm not sure about. Like, what would you want as like your last meal dinner? Like, I don't know.
That was my
I don't know.
fucking question 5 minutes ago.
Well, well, we're talking about it, so yeah, okay, well, fine. What do you have to contribute to the conversation? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? A cigarette and like a penicillin tablet, and you're gonna just go walk through the door? Like that's your last meal? Like good for you.
That was my finals meal in college. I'll tell you what
Yeah.
that was.
Well, yeah. So but yeah, the dinner one's tough. But then for dessert, I would definitely have like an ice cream sandwich and like a bunch of ice cream. That would definitely be the dessert. I think that'd be good. I think people sleep a lot on picnic food. Like hamburgers and hot dogs and like potato salad, and macaroni salad. Like I think picnic food is like when people say like what's your favorite kind of food? Like oh I like Italian or like Chinese or whatever. But I think picnic food is slept on. I think that is one of the things that I think people should start answering as like their favorite meals. Like oh I like picnic food. Like I think that's a good one. I like picnic
Yeah,
food.
that's fair.
Yeah, I think picnic food is fantastic because you get corn on the cob, you get hamburgers, you get hot dogs. Like I love picnic food. I like Fourth of July picnic food. Oh, it's so good. It's the best. Yeah.
4th of July picnic food. We'll have to talk about that next month.
Yeah. Love
All
it.
right, we're coming up on time now, and honestly, we're both rambling and exhausted from dealing with the kids all day. And you've been like, thank God you have that faded background going, so we don't know you've been chugging this whole time.
Mm,
But we're both
whatever.
exhausted right now
I
because we
don't care.
managed to slip this in super late at night. So
Yeah.
let's call it a month. We did the deed and we got us back on track with the monthly podcast. I think I'm starting to get a list together again of potential invitees who may be joining us again. So we're gonna try to get this back on the. We're getting the band back together. We're getting the band back
Back,
together.
baby. I'm back, baby.
Back, baby. It's like the
Yeah.
Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
We're gonna, we're on a mission
We're
from
on a
God.
mission from God.
Right. That'll be the title of the episode. We're on a mission from God.
Yeah. There you go.
Even
I
though
don't know.
it like has nothing to do with the whole fucking
Yeah. No.
episode.
No. Exactly.
They're
No.
like, why's
But
it called
but
Mission from God? Why's it called Mission from God?
but
And
the
then we're getting
people
to
who
this
made
point,
it this
they're like,
far,
oh, they're just
they'll get it.
they're just deliriously tired, and it's Father's Day weekend, and it's like we don't give a shit right now.
Nah, it's fine. No. No. But it was good though to get back on the horse though. We do
Get
we
back
do
on the horse. That's
we
right.
should get a little professionalism and probably have like a topic.
Uh, eh, we'll see.
I think it might help. I think it might help.
It might help. It might help. But you know what? I've seen worse.
Thematically, the month is usually something good going on. Like, I don't know, we could have talked about Father's Day stuff the entire time.
I think we needed the time. That's my attitude on that. Um,
Yeah, when you fall off, you got to get back on the horse. It's always a little rough on that first ride back.
Sometimes you got, you know what? One in the can is worth two on the editing room. Or what's the expression? I don't know. I'm tired. I really
Good
can't do this
question.
anymore. It's so late. We crammed this in at like just like on a whim. Oh God.
Stitch in time, save nine. You know, why buy the cow when you get the sex for free? This, you know.
It's
Oh,
something like that.
speaking of Mallrats, did you see that Kevin Smith he has ownership of Dogma and he's taking it on a theater tour for the 25th anniversary of Dogma?
No.
No, so yeah, he was on a podcast that I was listening to. I saw like, oh, Kevin Smith's on this one. This would be pretty interesting. So Kevin Smith loves to talk, and it's interesting just listening to him talk about all the stories, whatever, and how he got that back and all this other jazz. But yeah, so he's taking that on like a theater tour the same way that he did. I think he did Clerks 3 the same way, where like he
Clerks
basically
3 is Clerks. I've seen Clerks like because like we're biased because of our age and because of our location growing up.
yeah
Like I've been into the Secret Stash like
yeah
many times.
yeah
Like we grew up and hung out right around there around high school, so we're biased to being Kevin Smith fans. But I gotta say, I watched Clerks 3 like 3 months ago for the first time, and I was like, it like stayed with me. Like
Mhm.
I was like really sitting there like, oh my God.
I don't think I saw Clerks 3.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think I saw
It
it.
like stayed with me. Like I was
Really?
thinking about it as
Yeah.
like this is this good or is this terrible? Like I didn't
Yeah.
really think about it.
Interesting. I'll just search that out. But I
Yeah.
remember when I saw Clerks 2 that there were the scene in Clerks 2, spoiler alert, where they're at the end where they're in the jail cell. That was
Hmm.
an entertaining scene in my mind. It's like, yeah, we took some classes at Brookdale. We took criminology. We were trying to be fucking Batman.
I love that joke too.
It's a
Yeah, it's
great
such
line.
like a
It's a great
hometown
line in the
joke.
movie.
It's like
But
I went
yeah,
to Brookdale Community College. I took classes at Brookdale.
yeah, I didn't, but yeah, but
I took night class at Brookdale Community College. I get
yeah,
it.
it's just you're
I took
trying to better yourself.
trigonometry.
Yeah, trying to become a geometrist.
I wanted to be a triangle expert in my youth. So I deliberately took trigonometry in the summer. That's a true story.
Yeah. Who is this Sokotoa guy?
So
don't
Katoa,
yeah.
markets
Yeah. Oh man.
education, dad life.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. You got to cram it in somehow.
That's
But
right.
but yeah. But yeah, I thought that was cool. I wish it'd be, I don't know. It'd be fun to see a Kevin Smith thing where he like comes out and talks at the end. Because I don't know if you ever saw like an evening with Kevin Smith when he
I've
did
seen
those
all of
things.
them.
Like,
He's done like three of them.
yeah,
They're like
they're
podcasts before
fantastic.
podcasts.
Yeah, they're fantastic. But yeah, it'd be fun to like see that in person. Like just to watch one of those movies. But Dogma, I think, is one of his best movies. I think that's
Dogma's
probably
another one where, like, again, we were Catholic schoolboys raised in New
yeah,
Jersey, so we have an
true.
enormous bias to a movie
Yeah,
like Dogma about the
but
Catholic faith,
yeah.
a Kevin Smith movie about Catholic faith. Like, you have to ask some like random, like, I don't know, like if
I
you
wonder.
ask,
I wonder if somebody who's like 16 now would find that funny.
I'm
You
sure
know, like
most of them probably would. I think the problem is
it's a little
the,
dated because
I don't know. I think this is a problem. This is like after the close. Like, I
through the
I think
clothes.
with a lot of like I think Marvel is somehow managing it well, but I think Star Wars as a franchise has a big age problem
Mm.
because I believe that it like they had they had all the movies streaming on cable today, and I was flipping on and I had them on like here and there throughout the day as I was doing other stuff. My kids are not really clicking with
Whoa, whoa,
it.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's. You have cable?
Yeah, we have like FX and TNT and USA and all this basic cable.
Mm. Okay.
It's free. Like it just comes with the channel package that we have of all the other stuff.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
they give it to you. It's like they're yeah, it's free. There's like take it. It's
Yeah.
like we don't want it
So,
anymore.
so I guess your internet is provided through your cable company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we get like we get the highest internet package offered, and then one of the apps on the Fire TV is just basic cable and it's free.
Hmm. Like through your internet service provider.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
I
I
don't
don't
know why
have.
that's so amazing.
I don't have that. My internet is through T-Mobile, and then I have YouTube TV that I'm
Ah,
probably gonna cancel.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's your thing.
Yeah. I have no cables running into my house anymore. But anyway,
Well,
yeah. But anyway, so what you're saying, yeah, the age gap is that they don't kids don't care.
well, what I'm saying is that the franchise is too complex to digest anymore.
That's also true. I've
Like
definitely
you tell me if I'm like 15, you tell me like, hey, let's start watching this thing, and it's like, well, how much is it? You say like, well, it's like what is it? It's 12 full-length movies. It's four cartoon series. It's
yeah, yeah. Oh, and then all the offshoots and spin-offs and
I
stuff
like
like
it's just like it spans like a time like it's like the chronology of it like
yeah.
when is it taking place because it's not like it just like progresses and you just watch it.
Right,
They're
right.
like the Acolyte was a
They'll go back in
hundred years
time.
before episode one, and then like Andor is like smack dab in the middle, and then you have all this like it's far like if I would never want to get into it now, and I'm
No,
very
it's
confident that the
gotten.
average age of somebody who's watching all that stuff has been ticking up for years.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like even like when the Mandalorian first came out, that was kind of a phenomenon. Like that was
That
a
was
new,
right. The
fresh.
season one of The Mandalorian when it first came out, it also had the pandemic going for it.
Right. Well, yeah,
People
exactly.
were
Yeah.
home.
Like, right. And it was fresh. It was good. You didn't have to really have a whole lot of prior knowledge. If you did, it was great. But if you didn't, you could still watch it as a standalone. Um, but then I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch the latest season of The Mandalorian.
I watched
Like
all of
I
The
haven't watched
Mandalorian.
it.
I've been trying to carve out time to get Andor's like I don't want to watch Andor season 2 as like choppy. I gotta get 15 minutes here and 20 minutes there. I want to like be able to like find time when I can like sit and really like dedicate a
Mhm.
long weekend to it and watch the whole
Right.
thing. So I haven't
See,
watched
like
that yet,
I,
but
I haven't watched any of the newer stuff. Like the last thing I think I watched was when the Mandalorian season three, I guess it's season three came out, and I watched the first episode of it, and I was like, I missed something massive. Like
mm.
I was so confused because I didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett, which is like the Mandalorian 2.5.
Yeah, and it was yeah, like right, like it's tough to you get it. That I agree, it's tough.
So then I like made a point to go back and watch the Book of Boba Fett, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I just never went back to the Mandalorian. I'm like, I don't have time. I don't have time for this. But like the first season, the first episode of season three of the Mandalorian did not jive with the last episode of season two of the Mandalorian. Like it just did not work. I was like, that some missed something big in between here. Like how
Mm.
am I supposed to reconcile what happened at the end of that season and the beginning of this season? It just does not compute. That doesn't
And
make sense.
now they're gonna do a movie.
The Mandalorian movie?
Yeah, there's a Mandalorian movie coming out, and
Hmm.
it's basically just a 2 hour episode of The Mandalorian that you have to go pay to watch.
Yeah, is John Favreau like still involved with the Mandalorian or no?
I have no idea what his
No, yeah,
specific
I have
thing
no.
is. It's like, another one of those things where it's like I can only keep so many things focused in my
Yeah,
head at one time. And it's like,
I couldn't tell you, but I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. I I haven't. I have Fire Stick and whatever. So Amazon Prime recommended the show with Jimmy Carr hosting it. It's called I Literally Just Told You. It's a game show.
okay.
It's kind of entertaining. It's a show where they literally make up questions about the show that you're watching on the spot. So the contestants are like trying to pay attention to all the things that are going on, like conversations that he's having with with the the other contestants. They'll ask other contestants about the conversation that they just had.
So like you could just right now at this moment ask me what's the name of Jimmy Dore's game show, and I would
Jimmy
fail
Carr's game show.
miserably because I already
Yes,
forgot what you said.
I literally just told you.
Right. I
And
was
that's the
like,
point of the show.
I'd be deer in headlights if you actually asked me that question.
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of fun because it's like, oh, how good are you at paying attention? And I'm like, so I watched one
So
episode of that.
it's like Jeopardy where everybody immediately joins in at home trying to think of the answers.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're playing along, but I mean, literally, it's the only contestants on the show that are playing for real. Like, it's not like they're polling the audience while they're doing it. It's just, so literally, like, they check in with people who are literally sitting there writing the questions as the show's going on. Like, you can see the writers writing the questions, and like, it's like, oh, it's interesting. It's interesting. Plus, I like Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr's a pretty funny comedian, so
I gotcha. No, that's a good one. I like that
yeah,
one.
that was a
Maybe I'll check that
recommended.
one out.
Yeah, it was a recommended
Probably
thing of
not,
the
but
season.
you know.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, it's not worth the time, but it's one of those things where it's like you don't have to like follow any canon to watch a game show. you
That's
know?
what that's yeah, that's I'm big on that these days still. I can either like allocate a good like 100 minutes to watch like a good type movie,
Yeah,
or I gotta watch stuff that's like I've seen already, like old reruns of whatever, or
yeah,
something that's like not that plot heavy.
yeah.
Like something
I started parsing through Malcolm in the Middle,
Malcolm
like
in the Middle.
yeah, with Bryan Cranston.
No, I know what it is. We talked about it
Yeah,
25 minutes ago. But
yeah,
I'm saying like you just started watching
yeah. Because I needed another because like I like to have a sitcom kind of in the role that I can
mhm.
just pop on if I want and like so like I was watching Modern Family for a while and I didn't finish it. I had like one season left, but then Modern Family was like I just wanted to watch that from like start to finish, and that's pretty funny. The show is still
We watched we've gone like every day we put something on that everybody tolerates, we say. And
yeah
then so like and it ends up being a sitcom, and it ends up that's why we were saying like we watched Modern Family a lot, and then I tried to pitch like Married Children being the prequel of it.
yeah
And we watched Full House, Fuller House,
yep.
Modern Family, and then it turns into whatever else we can
I
think
don't know. Boy
of.
Meets World might be in that. We watched Boy Meets World for a while.
I've
We
pitched Boy
watched
Meets World. Didn't come back. I pitched Step by Step, didn't come back so well. I pitched
Family
at a
Matters.
certain point I just don't want to watch the goddamn show anymore.
Yeah, what about Family Matters or like Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
I tried Sabrina the Teenage Witch because you got to play to your age group of your
Right,
kids. You like,
exactly.
I really thought Sabrina the Teenage Witch would have been a hit, but they like busted on that. You know what it is? They've started to get involved with the Disney shows, which your
Yeah.
kids are probably a little too young for, but the Disney shows like Jesse and like they should, my daughter found Lizzie McGuire, which is
Mm,
an old, like that's an old one, but it was on Disney Plus. And
yeah.
there's what's the other ones? Some of the Nickelodeon ones that she
Mm,
likes, which are like hit or miss, to be honest with you. But yeah,
yeah.
she kind of more or less independently went her own way, which I guess is good.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We got the age gap. We're playing to the lowest age gap right now.
Yeah, I get that too. We watch a lot of garbage.
Daniel Tiger's a hit right now with the lowest youngest one.
What is it?
Daniel Tiger.
Daniel Tiger. Yeah, we never in Daniel Tiger. To like we're like if we don't want to listen to it, we don't let them watch it. Like we don't watch
Daniel Tiger's
Blippi
good
in our
though.
house
Like
because it's just like I don't want to hear that in the background. I
Daniel
don't like
Tiger's very calm and very like
it.
and she really so like we had Daniel Tiger books, so like she like recognizes it now and she like wants to read Daniel Tiger. It's like, oh, Daniel Tiger. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's read some Daniel Tiger. And she likes it, so it's fine, whatever. So she's slowly started potty training herself.
Herself, good for her.
Yeah, so like yeah, the past 2 days she like just takes like the step stool and like puts it up to the potty and then she just sits in the potty and goes on the potty. I'm like, all right,
Good
cool.
for her.
Yeah. So we Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully
All
that
right.
takes.
All right, we basically had like our second win there, but it is extremely late. We were both clearly running on fumes, but we got it in, we got it done, we got the whole episode like recorded in the can. The editing on this is going to be wild. But we got it in. This is June. We are trying to grind these out and get these back on every month. Next will be July, and I started to get a list of some people. The Substack's back up and running. The stores have been like a low key accumulation. I have dozens and dozens of sales on the store, which is cool. Um, Twitter, Instagram, and Instagram going to start to reappear some of the clips and things. So we got that going. I can barely speak anymore. Do you have anything else you want to say before I like
I'm
pass
back,
out for the
baby.
night? Hmm?
I'm back, baby.
You're back, baby. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody.